Jai Prabhuji. Hello everybody and welcome to this course where we are exploring and familiarizing ourselves with the book of Prabhuji. The name is Kundalini Yoga, The Power is in You. I would like to recommend whoever doesn't have the book by now to get it. There is nothing that you can compare with having this direct contact with the words of Prabhuji. And if you saw previous classes, you probably noticed how we are many times taking a small sentence or a paragraph, and from there we are developing a whole class and sharing my thoughts. Here in the Retroprogressive Yoga Institute, my spiritual brothers and sisters, we are sharing what happens in us, our thoughts, our feelings in regards to this meeting with Prabhuji, living with him, reading his book, listening to his video lectures. And in the same way, what's important for us in the Institute is that the audience, the viewers of these courses will focus in what happens in them, what happens in you. As a viewer, what are your thoughts, what are your feelings, and what happens in this meeting with what we're sharing. So this is why I always, every time we're bringing different quotes, different verses or paragraphs from another book or certain video, this is why I always recommend to watch the entire video conference or to get the actual book to read the full article or chapter, that we're just taking a small paragraph to enrich and expand what we're sharing in our different classes of this beautiful path of the Kundalini Yoga. Today, in this opportunity, we're going to continue our classes of the third center, which is the Manipura Chakra. We saw how in our previous classes different attributes that are related to it. And I feel that this specific class is, you can tell that we are close to the closing, close to the end of this series of classes. I feel in this specific class, we are connecting the dots. We are going to learn different attributes and different things that are associated with the center. And here we can actually perceive and comprehend even better the attributes that we shared in our previous two classes. We started speaking about how the center is very connected to the willpower, to the self-esteem, to the power and the control. And in the first class, we deepen into the power, where our true power lies. And we finalize that class understanding that our true power is to surrender it to the supreme power, to the divine. And we develop the whole class understanding what is the meaning of surrender. Then in our second class, we delve into the term control, specifically from the perspective of the psychology and the retroprogressive yoga. And we saw what's the view in regards to this specific term. So today, we're going to be sharing more attributes, and as we go in the class, you're going to understand what I'm sharing now, that all the dots are starting to connect, and we're going to see the relationship with all the things that we already shared in our previous classes. So we would like to start by sharing the specific location of this center, which is in the umbilical area, and is precisely within the Sushumna Nadi. For the ones that saw our previous classes, you already know that this is a very important Nadi. This is the Nadi where the Kundalini is actually going to ascend until the seventh center, the Sahasrara Chakra. So this channel is the channel of vital energy or prana, and it's extending from the base of the spine to the crown of the head in this Sahasrara chakra. Then we have the Kshetram of this center. You remember the Kshetram is this diagram, this figure that is going to allow us to connect with the specific center that we want to open or that we are dedicating certain practices. So for the third center, the Kshetram, remember also that it's located in the front of the body. So the one for the Manipura chakra is in the at the navel. This chakra has several alternative names. We are going to mention a few. One of them is Dasa Chada, which is the possessor of 10 leaves. Dasha Patrambuja, which is the 10-petal lotus. Manipuraka, which is the city of jewels. Navi Padma, the navel lotus. Dasa Dala Padma, the 10-petal lotus. And Navi Pankaja, the navel lotus. So as we saw there, the alternative names are going to be related either to its location, to the meaning of the word Manipura that we saw is the city of jewels, and also they are many times related to the amount, to the quantity of the petals of the yantra of the center. This one is 10, so this is why you saw different names relating to the specific amount. So the color of this center, the color of this center is yellow. We see in psychology that this color is commonly associated with feelings of joy, with feelings of energy, with feelings of optimism and creativity, and also mental clarity. It is also believed that the yellow color can stimulate the intellect and the decision making, as well as improving, for example, the memory and the concentration. However, in excess, yellow can have a stimulating effect, like in excess. And this can cause irritation, it can cause anxiety, and it can even cause stress in some people. So in general, the yellow is considered to have this stimulating and vibrant effect on human psychology. So it's going to make it appropriate for environments where creativity, innovation, or a positive and energetic attitude is required. What we see here is that the yellow color of the Manipura chakra can be interpreted as representing the willpower, the self-esteem, and the ability to make decisions and to carry them out. These were different things that we mentioned in the past, and we see then how when we bring this meaning of the color, of the yellow color in psychology, we can see then how much is connected to the center. And something that I like to make emphasis specifically here is when they're saying that the excess of it can even cause stress and anxiety in different persons, because we saw in our course, and we are going to continue seeing them in our next classes, how important is the balance. We see in our classes where we're speaking about the imbalance of a center, how much it can affect our physical body, our emotions, and our psychological state. We saw how different disorders can be related to a disbalance of one of the centers. So I just wanted to make an emphasis and point out once again how an excess or a deficit of something can affect us and influence us in different directions, and how important it is to always be in the search or trying to search this balance. This is the color of the center, and then the color of the tattwa of this center, or the element, tattwa is element, is going to be red. The element of this chakra is fire or Agni, and the fundamental qualities of it are light, clarity, and warmth. These are different things related to the fire. The fire is going to be expressed on a universal level as the sun and the stars. And then when we want to see it in a macrocosmical level in ourselves, we will see that the Manipura chakra is going to be the seat of the digestive fire and is therefore in charge of the digestion and the metabolism. Any imbalance in this third center, it's going to be generally linked to stomach problems and also in problems with diabetes. We also find that this fire that we're speaking about is present not only in this fire of the stomach, but also in the retina of the eyes that it's needed in order to perceive the light, and also in the gray matter that we find in the brain cells. Then on a physical level, fire, it's going to be the element that has the power to transform and purify the energy of the organism. Likewise, this center is considered to be the great purifier because fire is capable of burning, it's capable of evaporating and also transforming what is gross into subtle. I make a small parenthesis here to see how important is the place of the fire in the center. And as much as we continue in our class, we're going to see more things that are related to the fire and how this is going to be the seat of the metabolism and how important it's going to be the role of this fire in this path that we're speaking about, the Kundalini. Then I found it a great opportunity to share something that Prabhuji wrote in the Ishavasya Upanishad in the commentary that he did to this book. He's speaking about the fire, and I just brought a small paragraph so you can see more what is the power of the fire. Let us read. The clothing of renowned Hindu monks is usually orange. This is the color of fire, which symbolizes the essence of the cosmic manifestation. Fire is a great equalizer because after passing through the flames, everything turns to ashes equally. Whether a poor person or a millionaire, a thief or a judge, a criminal or a saint, an atheist or a religious person, when burned in fire, the same substance remains: ashes. If we burn banknotes or newspaper, we will get exactly the same ashes. When the movie ends, regardless of whether it was a drama or a comedy, only the imperturbable screen remains. Similarly, when we burn the pursuit of sensory pleasure in the flames of wisdom, what remains is Brahman, the one consciousness. I found this paragraph very beautiful, how it's explaining about the fire. And in the previous paragraphs in this part of the book, he's speaking how the fire is used in so many different rituals in the Vedic tradition. And then it comes to tell us this, which I feel it's supporting what we just shared in regards to the fire and its power, and how it's telling us there at the end that when we burn this sensory pursuit, sensory pleasure pursuit in wisdom, then what remains? And I feel it's very much connected to what we spoke in some of our classes in regards to renunciation, sublimation, and of course about the surrender. I feel everything is connected. So now that we are speaking about the fire, I thought that we can continue speaking about the gland. The gland that is connected to the center is the pancreas. This is a mixed gland, and it's going to be located behind the stomach and in front of the spine. Then it's going to be located in this region of the abdomen. This region is known as the epigastrum. On a physical level, the pancreas is the organ that it's going to produce insulin, and it's also producing the glucagon. These are both hormones that are responsible for regulating the blood sugar levels. Also, these hormones are going to be crucial for the body's metabolism and also the energy. So we see here the relationship of this center to the metabolism. We see the relationship with the levels of energies. We see this relationship with the digestion. So we're seeing how everything is connected. We're speaking about the fire. Now we're speaking about the gland, and how everything is going to be related to this digestion, to this distribution. The metabolism is about the distribution of the different nutrients. And now we see these very crucial hormones also in our levels of energy. Many times you probably have this experience of eating something and then feeling extremely tired, fatigued, or the opposite with a lot of energy. So we see how related is all that we're speaking about, the fire, the gland, to this specific center and to these different processes in our organism. And we're going to continue seeing more things that are going to be connected to this. The subtle element or the tammatra of this center is rupa, which is translated as form or color. Then the sense that is going to be related to it is the sight. The sight allows us to perceive light sensations through the eyes. That will be the organ, the eyes. And in this way, when we are having these different perceptions, we can distinguish shape, we can distinguish form, the color, also the movements of the bodies, and we can tell also the distance. This is everything through the sense of the sight, through the eyes. So this sense is also going to determine our perception of the world around us. What we're going to see is that in the first two centers, we move only in the world of instincts, but from the Manipura, we approach the capabilities that we can call of human beings. And I want to share what we find in the books in regards to it, because it says that it was not an accident that the great sages were called rishis or seers. It's saying that they saw the absolute reality, they saw their soul, and they saw God. So the center is going to be that level of consciousness where we begin to open our eyes. And I feel it's very important to make this distinction about the previous centers, the first one and the second one, how they are more related to our instincts. We saw in the first one, it was more related to our protection, to the feeling of being safe, our survival. Then we have in the second one this pursuit of pleasure. We are not so much concerned with the pursuit of survival, but we also want to have some pleasure from the different activities that we have, and we saw how dangerous it is to live our lives only after this pursuit. And only now in this third center is that we actually find the willpower to control these urges. So we're not only led by these instincts, but we have something that is allowing us to direct ourselves as we aspire in life. And now we see this connection with the eyes that are allowing us to perceive the world around us in a different way and to see things. Then the sense organ, or the Jnanendriya, as we saw in this Tanmatra, the side, then the organ is going to be the eyes to see, and the organ of action, which are the Karmendriyas, is going to be the feet for locomotion. And we saw in our previous centers how it's different according to the Kashmir Shaivism. In this case, is going to be the anus for excretion. Now I think we can share about the deity that is presiding in this center, which is Bradna Rudra. I also want to share specifically what we find in the book. It's very beautiful. It's describing it, and you can see some images also of this deity. It's saying that he lies seated on a tiger skin, and he has this golden beard. Another name of this deity is Sadyojata, which is self-born. He's going to be one of the 5 main aspects of Shiva. And in this specific aspect, he's expressing his indignation at the suffering, and he's also sharing like this destructive anger at the evil that is produced because of human ignorance. And then he's explaining us that this is not a selfish anger as we usually have as human beings, but it's the fury of a father who sees his son that is turning away from the Dharma. So this is an anger that is a product of love, that it's a father that wishes to destroy the delusion and the ignorance, which is actually the source of our pain. So this is a way for us to relate with anger. Many times, as it says here, it's not a selfish anger, or someone is not good with me, so I am angry because I deserve respect, I deserve good things. But this is coming from a father. How is this figure of a father? It wants our benefit. The father wants our well-being, and it's willing to do something that we can even find bad or painful, but the father has certain responsibility, has a wider view of things, has certain maturity that we as child cannot see, and then he's always doing what is best for our benefit. And this reminds me to a conversation, to a darshan that we had not long ago, where Prabhuji was sharing in regards to what's beneficial and what's good for us. And as adult, which one do we choose? So I find it very connected, because he was saying it's not the same to choose what is good and what is beneficial. Many times what is beneficial is not good. We're not receiving any pleasure. We're not receiving any satisfaction from it, but it's actually beneficial in our path, in our development. And the same, many times something is good, but is harming us, is causing us certain suffering. So I find it very connected to what I just shared in regards to this father figure, and how anger can also come out of love and protection to the child, to your children. Other things that I wanted to share in regards to the Manipura chakra is the feminine deity that is going to be associated with it, which is Lakini Devi. She is considered the manifestation of the divine energy of the sun, and this is going to be associated with the fire element that we spoke about previously. This deity, Lakini Devi, is depicted as four-armed goddess, and she is seated on a yellow lotus, and you will see images of her too. She's carrying a sword and also a shield, which are symbolizing strength and protection, respectively. Then in her lower right hand, she's holding a lotus flower, and in her lower left hand, she holds a trident. The presence of this deity in the Manipura chakra is believed to help balance the energy of the fire energy in the body, and also it's believed to increase the willpower, the courage, and also the ability to make decisions in life. In addition to this, its energy is said that it's going to stimulate the development of the intellect, the creativity, and the imagination. As we saw previously when we were speaking about the color, the yellow, that is also very much related to this imagination, creativity. So this is what I was saying, that we are seeing how all the dots are connecting and how everything is so much synchronized and in harmony. Everything like the sun, the fire, the willpower, the energy to make decisions, and the courage and the determination that is needed in different situations. We can all find it here. And I would like us to read what we find in the Chakra Nirupana in regards to this deity. Here abides Lakini, the benefactress of all. She is four-armed and radiant body, dark skin, clothed in yellow dress, decorated with various ornaments, and exalted by drinking ambrosia. By meditating on this navel lotus, the power to destroy and create the world is acquired. Bani, the divine sound, with all the wealth of knowledge, always resides in the lotus of her face. This we find it in the Chakra Nirupana by Swami Purnananda. This is the verse number 21. Now that we saw the different deities that are associated with this or preside in this center, we can speak about the animal. The ram is often associated with the Manipura chakra, and is because of its vital energy, the courage, and also the strength. We see that in the Vedic tradition, the ram is also associated with the god Agni. We saw that this is the god of fire and the purification qualities. So Agni is considered to be the life force that is going to propel the energy upward through the chakras, obviously including the Manipura chakra, which is the one we are speaking about. But it's not only the Manipura, but all the chakras. In the Hatha Yoga, we see that the Ram pose or Bhujangasana is going to be often used to stimulate and also to activate the Manipura chakra. And in addition to this, the Ram figure is also associated with the ability to make decisions, also the ability to act with courage and determination, which is going to be related to this power and to this energy of the Manipura chakra. So again, we see how everything is connected, and we see this connection of this animal and the qualities why it's being related to this specific center. The power that is associated with the center, it's going to be the perfect knowledge of one's body. And upon awakening this center, it says that the sadhakas are going to be graced with the gift of healing diseases. This is what happens when this center is open. The plane or loka of this center is the dimension or the level of consciousness. The name is going to be Svarga or Svarloka, which is the celestial plane. Then we have the energetic channel, or the nadi is going to be Vishvodhara, and the bio element or dosha is Pitta, or this fiery element, and we already know why it's going to be Pitta. The vital air or vayu of this specific center is Samana. We see that the third center is like the central distributor, as we saw previously, and it's going to be then the distributor also of prana that is spreading and it's distributing vital energy throughout the body. So again, we see this role of the Manipura to distribute, to be involved in the distribution of energy, of prana, this metabolism. For the ones that didn't see our class of prana, we shared the major pranas, we shared the minor pranas, and we saw that we have prana, apana, and samana, prana, apana, and samana. We had prana in the chest area, then we have samana under the abdomen, apana under the abdomen, and samana in the abdomen area. And if prana was about inhaling and receiving, then apana was of exhaling and excretion of different fluids in our body, or even the air as exhaling. And then the samana was between both of them, and it's going to work as balancing these inhaling energies, these exhaling energies, and also, as we just mentioned now, as distributing this vital energy throughout the body. Then the kosha, or the sheath of this center, is the pranamaya kosha, which is the vital body. We have different gemstones that are related to this center. I'm just going to mention a few of them. I recommend that you will go to the book to see all of them. One of them is the aquamarine, the fire agate, we have the diamond, we have the fluorite, we have the tabby jasper, we have the turquoise, we have also the jade and the amber, and a few more. The fragrance that is related to this center is lavender. And then we have different aromatherapy oils. Some of them are the one of cinnamon, the chamomile, the lemon, the vetiver, and you can go to the book for the others. The planet that is going to be related, many of you, I think you can guess which one is it, which is Surya, or the sun. And then I want to finalize by sharing some of the secondary chakras that are related to the Manipura. One of them is Adya Chakra, Vima, Brahmamanya Chakra, Ajita Brahma Vadini, Chandogra, Kandika, Amba, Datri, Agnihotri, Vidya, Avidya, Driti, and many others. I want to just conclude by sharing the importance of this specific center. As we saw since we started sharing about the first one, not to underestimate the power of the center. Just because it's the first one, the second one, or the third one doesn't mean that it doesn't have a certain importance, or that some of the centers are more important than other. but we can see here how many different attributes are related to this specific center and how its balance and the different properties are going to determine so many different things in us. This courage and determination to make decisions, the control that people can have over ourselves and the one that we can exert in others. We saw where our true power resides, and this ability to take responsibility of our lives, decide how we want to go in life. We spoke about the steering wheel in our boats, that we can choose our direction, and how much is related to our self-esteem. And we saw the different disorders that an excess or a deficit on the balance of this center can take us, which is actually our next class. In our next class, we're going to be deepening into the results, the effect in ourselves, both physically and psychologically, when there is a disbalance of this center. And we will, of course, also share how it looks when it's balanced. And we are going to be, as promised, sharing some of the disorders that are associated with a disbalance in the Manipura. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hope that you can benefit from the different classes and what we're sharing in this course. Jai Prabhuji.